Welcome back. You're watching Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. It's now time to put the spotlight on the head honcho. Brand Equity put together a handful of young guns from Ogilvy, Delhi to shoot some tough questions right at their big boss, Ogilvy. Will the captain survive the volley? Will the young blood be satiated? Let's find out on Quiz the Boss.
Hi, my name is Ajay Gehlot and I am the Executive Creative Director at Ogilvy and Mehta, New Delhi. And I've got three of my colleagues with me who are supposed to ask me some really tough questions. And I will not make any bad jokes about this being increment time. Let's start straight away with them. All three of them, surprise, surprise, are copywriters. So, which one of you wants to, ask me a question first?
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay. First question I have is, we as an organization, we are known for our past and present glories. So, do you think some mediocre work actually slips through just because we are Ogilvy?
Mediocre work always slips through. Like I think Piyush has said, you cannot hit a six of every ball. Har ball pe chhakka nahi mara ja sakta. So, while you have brilliant work, there are times when something not as good as we would like it to be sees the light of day.
Industry perception seems to be that most of Ogilvy Delhi's major brands are worked on by teams in Ogilvy Mumbai. Is that true? And if not, why is there such a perception?
Yes, there is a perception, there is no doubt. But the perception is because of a past reality. It is no longer a present reality. There was a time when a lot of work used to happen from Bombay, because as an organization we wanted to keep up the standards of work, and it was not always possible to find the top talent in Delhi, because most of the talent used to actually migrate from here to Bombay in search of career growth and all of that. So a lot of stuff was done out of Bombay. Increasingly it is not. In fact, there's a story. We had gone for a meeting the other day, and the client really loved the Limca film. So they asked someone in our group, somebody who was not a creative person, and they said, so who's done that Limca film? He said, oh, that was done out of the Bombay office. So the perception exists even within our office, but hopefully over time it will go away, because the fact of the matter is we are doing all our work out of Delhi now.
Ogilvy has always ruled the creative roots in India. And you think Ogilvy Delhi in particular, it's making a mark in the world map, the creative world map, if that is it?
We are making a mark. The world map, I don't know, but we are definitely making a mark nationally. Earlier it used to be just a one-horse race with Ogilvy Bombay doing, the lion's share of the work, with a spark here and there from other offices of Ogilvy. But Delhi is being noticed, and I think we are making a mark. We used to be famous for winning international awards, but now we are making a dent at Goa Fest as well, and even more encouragingly, we are doing stuff that the consumer is enjoying.
So there are these many agencies around where you go and you see that the national creative directors and even the service heads and all, they have actually spent some time at Ogilvy. So on the surface it would seem like it's a very nice place for, or very fertile grounds for higher talent, for senior talent. But maybe it also means that beyond a point, if you want to grow, you have to get out of Ogilvy. Is that true?
People want growth, people want to go. That is why I presume people leave. I have left once, and I did it for the same reason, to be completely honest. But the first part of your question is absolutely correct. This is the place where the creative leaders come from. In fact, any of the large agencies, if you see, most of the top creative people have at one time or another worked at Ogilvy. Yes, you might say that one would need to go elsewhere for greater growth, but you don't need to go anywhere else for greater joy, because this is the place where you get the biggest creative kicks in the country, bar none.
What's the last great piece of work that our office produced that you think failed to get absolutely any recognition?
Limca should have got a lot more than it did, because it was hugely popular, and it's a great franchise now almost. We've done 4 films, all of which have made a huge dent, and people have loved them. So I think it could have won more awards. Another one which was one of my personal favorites was Pan Vilas. I think it was a fabulous piece of work in a very difficult category. we completely, changed the category with that work. That was very disappointing when, your peers don't recognize the kind of hard work and creativity that went into that.
There's another thing, Piyush being at the helm of affairs. Do you think we become complacent at times, thinking that, everything is taken care of because, it's Piyush's name and things come easy to us?
Well, yes and no. Honestly, yes and no. Piyush being there is a huge positive for us. We do have the Brahmastra, as they say. Yes, the disadvantage is sometimes we get complacent. We can say, chalo Piyush ko phone karte hain, and we don't do it ourselves, which I think we should guard against. Thankfully, unlike any other agency, if we cannot solve something, we can always pick up the phone and say, Piyush, jara aana, problem hai.
So will you move to Bombay if that's what it takes to get to the next level?
Great question. I have gone to several levels in Delhi itself, and I think our office is only beginning to explode now. So there are lots of levels left in Delhi before I even have to think about going anywhere else. So so far so good. Okay, I hope I've answered all your questions, guys. They were not very difficult, thankfully, except for one or two times where you made me sweat a bit. And I'd like to sort of wrap this up just by saying that, the more opportunity we give to our young people to ask questions, to probe, to be completely open and above board about, whatever reservations they have, the better it will be for all of us. So I'd like to just wrap up this show by saying thank you to all my colleagues, and thank you everyone.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Brand Equity. We'd love to hear from you. So do write into Brand Equity at etnow.tv or SMS us at 58888 with your thoughts on the show. Also, do take the time and log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/brandequity to be up to speed with all that's happening in the world of brands. Also, follow us on Twitter on Brand Equity Live. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, ciao, ciao.